For more, let's bring in Margaret Brennan. Margaret is the moderator of Face the Nation and CBS News' chief foreign affairs correspondent. Margaret, in total, this package represents the Biden administration's largest Ukraine aid funding request. What does this signify to you, and is it enough?
You know, it's definitely not enough if you believe the Ukrainian prime minister, who says he needs $600 billion to rebuild his country, and he's burning at a rate of $5 billion a month just funds on government salaries. So, no, it's not enough. There will likely be further requests, but to put it in perspective, this is more than double the request that Congress signed off on just 2 months ago. And at that time, Republican leader Mitch McConnell said if they need more, we will give them more. And it is not very often you hear Republican leaders say, Mr. President, please ask me for more money. But that's essentially what we heard there. This is one of the very few bipartisan issues existing in Washington today. And keep in mind, to get to that $600 billion that the Ukrainian prime minister says he needs, he's going to be able to get some support from other international institutions, from other Western powers as well. And this will likely not be the last time that Congress is asked to spend more. It was also interesting to see in there the White House request to give President Biden authority to liquidate assets of Russian oligarchs, to sell the yachts that are seized, to actually use the bank accounts that are frozen. He can't do that right now. He needs legal authority to do that. Congress would have to give it to him. But this is also something that the Ukrainian government was personally lobbying for. Their prime minister told me as much just last week.
Margaret, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, he testified today about what Ukrainians need now.
The president initiated a drawdown for security assistance to Ukraine last Labor Day. We did another very big one around Christmas time of more than $200 million. The result of those drawdowns before the aggression was that the Ukrainians had in their hands the anti-armor, the anti-air, and other systems that they needed to deal with the Russian attack in and around Kyiv. What's happened now, though, is that as the battle has shifted east and south, so has the terrain, and so have the needs of the Ukrainians. Secretary Austin and I spent about 3 hours with President Zelensky, his defense minister, his chief of the armed forces, foreign minister, et cetera. And a big part of the focus was on what is it that the Ukrainians need now to deal with the specific challenge they're facing from Russia in east and southern Ukraine. And among other things, what they need are longer range artillery of a heavier caliber. They need armored vehicles, tanks. They need shore to ship weapons to deal with the Black Sea, and a number of other things. So we spent a lot of time on that.
Margaret, do these weapons requests indicate the war in Ukraine is entering a new phase?
Yes, and the next 3 weeks will be decisive, according to the UK and US estimates of the direction this war is headed, because of the repositioning in the south and the east of the country, and this window of opportunity that the US and West sees to get as much armament in while supply lines remain open, and to do so in a way that provides Ukraine the ability to keep fighting in this territory that is very much industrial and farmland, but wide open, not urban warfare. You know, one of the things that I think is an interesting indicator today, Bob, is that there were rockets fired at Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, as the UN Secretary General was meeting with President Zelensky. This just days after he held a meeting with President Putin and had hoped to broker some kind of ceasefire. That's a pretty clear message being sent by Russia that they are not interested in a negotiation right now. To fire missiles at the city where the man running the international institution trying to broker a ceasefire is located at that moment, endangering him, is very much a signal that this is not going to be something that ends in the near future in terms of Russia crying uncle and agreeing to a negotiation. So it's something that's very disappointing to diplomats just within the past few hours.
Margaret Brennan, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Sunday. And a reminder, Face the Nation streams every Sunday at 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS News.